Subqueries in SQL Server, which we are talking about in this current session. What do you mean by the subquery in SQL Server? Okay, a subquery is the inner query as a query within a query. Okay, subqueries enable you to write queries that select data rows for criteria that are actually developed while the query is executing at runtime. Okay, more formally, it is the use of select statement inside one of the clauses of another select statement. Okay, so subquery means, for example, I have a one select query, okay, which is inside the select query. There is another select query that is called subquery. Okay, basically these subqueries will be formed from the where condition. Okay, so if you want to build the subqueries, then there is a certain rules we're supposed to follow. What are all those rules? Means subqueries needs to be enclosed in the where clause. That means we're supposed to write the subquery after the where clause and can be used insert, update, delete, and select statements. Okay, even you can perform the DML operations with the help of subqueries and also select query. We can use comparison operators. For example, these all are the comparison operators like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, in operators between the subqueries. Okay, the subquery is always executed first and then the main query should query. After that, main query will execute. Okay, that means, so whichever the query you are going to write as a subquery, first that inner query will execute first. Based on the result, the outer query will execute. And subquery should be enclosed within the parentheses. Where condition, after the where condition, we're supposed to write the subquery between the parentheses. Okay, subqueries are always to the right of the comparison operator. That means after the comparison operator, after the where condition, after the comparison operator, between the brackets, it's supposed to be right. Okay, we cannot use order by clause in the subquery. Instead, we can use the group by clause. Okay, subqueries will not support the order by. Okay, we should use single row operators with single row subqueries and vice versa. We cannot use between clause within a subquery, but we can use between in a subquery. That means between operator. When we are using the between operator, by the time we cannot use the subquery, but inside the subquery we can use the between. Okay, let's write the query. By the time you guys will get more clarity. Okay, totally types of, how many types of subqueries we have? Totally we have three types of subqueries, like single row subquery. That means your subquery, that inner query, it will return only single value. When it comes to the multi-row subquery, inner query, it should return multiple values. Correlated subquery. So it's a kind of correlated subquery means it will execute independently. Outer and inner both are execute independently. Okay, let's check on one by one. First, let's open the SSMS. Okay, for example, here I do have a AdventureWorks 2019 database. Open a new query. Click on new query. Okay, so here I am going to write the subqueries. Let's keep. Okay, so for example, first how the subqueries will produce. For example, here I have two tables. Select star from production.product. Same way, I have another table that is sales dot sales order detail. Here there is a relationship between these two tables, the product ID. Okay, in a product table, product ID, in sales order detail, product ID, it is having the relation. So I have asked you the question. So I need to get the list of products which are all having the sale. How to do that? Or else I need to get, which product is having the max sale. Okay, which product is having the max sale, for example. So here, where first let's check the data in this table. Okay, this is the table data. So I would like to identify, okay, so which product is having the max sale. So what I will do, where unit price equal to, okay, so select max from this table only. So ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, only whichever the product is having the max sale, that information it will come. I mean that record, that entire record, it should come. Okay, the max sale, it is equal to there are number of products anamata. Okay, so here if you observe, these are all key points. Subqueries needs to be enclosed in the way clause and can be used insert update select. Okay, we have written the select query. So ikkada way clause tarvata we have used the column name and also operator between the parentheses our subquery. So here this one we can call it as an inner query. Above query we can call it as an outer query. Okay, how this subquery will work means, how the subquery will execute means, first this inner query will execute. So okay, we got the value. Based on this value, the outer query will produce the result. Okay, this is the way the subquery will execute. So inside query we can call it as the inner query, and outer query we can call it as outer query. Okay, so we can use the comparison operators. Of course, here I have used the equal to, right? Okay, instead of equal to you can use less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, whatever it is based on your requirement you're supposed to use it. And also the subquery is always executed first and then main query should. Okay, what does it mean by first this inner query will execute, after based on the result the outer query will execute. Subquery should be enclosed within the parenthesis. Of course, here we have a brackets. Okay, subqueries are always to the right of the comparison operator. Right. So this is the comparison operator. Right side we have written. Okay, we cannot use the order by clause. In the further, I will explain about this point. Okay, in the further, I will explain about this point. We should use single row operator with single row subqueries and vice versa. That means if your inner query was returning single value, we supposed to use equal to operator, that is equal to the single row subquery. For example, okay, I have a requirement. I need to get the all products information which are all having the sale. Which are all having the sale. First look into this table. Totally we have 504 products. In this table, this is the product table. All the products information which is there. But when it comes to the sales order details, so which are all the products are having the sales, those all information only it should be there. So that means where my requirement is ఏవైతే ప్రోడక్ట్స్ సేల్ ఉందో ఆ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషనే నాకు ప్రోడక్ట్ టేబుల్ నుంచి రిజల్ట్ గా రావాలి. సో వేర్ product ID in comparison operator, I have kept it as the in. Why? Because so from my sales order details table, the product ID, okay, which is returning multiple product IDs, okay, which is returning multiple product IDs if you see here. So that's what I have used the in operator. So let's check it, this one. So if you see మొత్తం రికార్డ్స్ ఎన్ని product లో 502 products, but out of them only 266 I have a say in sales order detail. This is multi-row subquery. That's only we have changed only the operator. That's it. Okay. This is the single row subquery. Why? Because our inner query was returning only scalar value, single value. When it comes to the multi-row subquery, it was returning multiple values. Okay. So here, if you see product ID, it was duplicated multiple times. Even though if it is duplicated multiple times, it should not impact on any result. Okay. So what I will do to avoid the duplicates, I will use the group by, for example. Now it will return the unique product IDs. Okay. So I would like to keep the order by as well. Is it will allow? No, it should not allow. Descending order, I supposed to keep it. Okay. So if you see, if I run this entire query, it will throw the error. Why? The order by clause is invalid in views, inline functions, derived tables, subqueries, and common table expressions, unless top offset or for XML is also specified. So that means ఈ ఆర్డర్ బై అనేది యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్. మరి ఎప్పుడు పాసిబుల్ నువ్వు సబ్ క్వరీలో యూజ్ చేయటానికి అంటే whenever you are using the top clause. For example, the same requirement నేను బిలో తీసుకుంటున్నాను. ఇక్కడ నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే టాప్ 10 ప్రోడక్ట్ నేమ్స్ నేను చూడాలి. టాప్ 10 ప్రోడక్ట్ నేమ్స్. ఓకే, టాప్ 10 ప్రోడక్ట్ నేమ్స్ నేను చూడాలి అంటే టాప్ 10 అనేది ఎలా డెరైవ్ చేస్తాం? బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద సేల్. ఆ సేల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ యాడ్ ఉంది, సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్ డీటెయిల్ లో ఉంది. సో ఇక్కడ నేనేం చేస్తానంటే టాప్ product IDs I supposed to get based on order by unit price descending. So దీన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని top 10 products I would like to get. Right now it should work. Why? Because we have used the top clause. Let's check it. Yeah, if you see these 10 products only which is having the highest sales, these 10 products. Okay, so this point also it is covered, right? We cannot use order by clause in subquery directly. We cannot use, but when we can use that order by clause, when you have a situation you're supposed to use the top clause. By that time the order by clause it will allow. Okay, so this is when it comes to the single row subquery. I have already told you that is simply equal to, if you keep, that is single row subquery. When it comes to in or greater than or less than, that is multi-row subquery. Why? Because if your subquery was returning multiple results, then it will become a multi-row subquery. Okay, so let me keep the heading. multi-row subqueries. Okay. For example, another requirement. Another requirement is, okay, so I have another table that is sales order header information. Okay, so and another table that is sales order table. Okay, these two tables I have. These two tables are having the relation. Even though without having the relation also, you can use the joins and you can use subqueries, anything. Okay, relationship లేకపోయినా మనం ఏ query line రాసుకోవచ్చు. బట్ మీ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ పర్పస్ కోసం చెప్తున్నాను, ఈ టూ టేబుల్స్ కు రిలేషన్ ఉంటుంది. అదేంటిదంటే సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్ ఐడి. ఓకే, మై రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఈస్ I would like to get whichever the product is having the unit price more than 2050. Those all information I supposed to get it from the sales header. Okay, so that means select star from sales order header, where, okay, sales order ID or else, okay, or else which one we supposed to compare? Product ID. No. Sales order ID. Sales order ID. Okay, equal to or else in operator. Sorry, in operator. Okay. Sales dot sales order detail. Here I would like to get sales order ID. Why? Because in the where condition we are comparing with sales order ID only. That means in your inner query also it's supposed to be written sales order ID. Where, okay, unit price is greater than, okay, 2050. So ఈ ఆల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అనేది నాకు హెడర్ టేబుల్ నుంచి వస్తుంది. ఇదిగోండి, these all are the sales order IDs which are, okay, having the unit price greater than 2050. Okay, for example, another requirement. So here I have a sales order header table. Okay, so for example, here I have a subtotal column. So my requirement is, what is the total records information I would like to see. Okay, so the requirement is where subtotal, if it is for example 2000, means more than 2000 sale, I mean max or minimum sale or average sale. Okay, for example, average sale I would like to see which are all the records are having the subtotal more than average. Okay, so for example, subtotal is greater than, more than, that's what I have used the greater than. Okay, select from other table lo order header avg subtotal. Okay, so if you see here, more than average, it is having the 4000,001. Okay, and the requirement is I would like to see, okay, minimum sale. Minimum sale కి ఈక్వల్ గా ఏమేమి హెడర్ రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఓన్లీ ఒకటే ఉంది, minimum sale వచ్చేసరికి this is the one. Okay, ఇలా based on the requirement we supposed to write the query with the help of write operator. Okay, so using these types of subquery, single row subquery or multi row subquery. Okay, when it comes to the correlated subquery, what do you mean by the correlated subquery? Okay, so correlated subquery means it's a kind of query which can individually execute. Okay, for example, here I have a two tables like production dot product and select star from sales dot sales order detail. For example, these two tables are having the relation in the genuinely. So my requirement is I would like to get the products which are all having the sale. For example, product, I would like to give one alias name where product ID in. Okay, select from sales dot sales order detail, alias name I would like to give S. When it comes to the correlated subquery, we supposed to give the condition here. Okay, what is the common key between these two? P dot product ID equal to S dot product ID. That means it is very similar to the inner join. Okay, so product ID query. You see here the results are 266. For example, my requirement is another requirement is I would like to see which are all the products up to today doesn't have any sale. By the time what I will do, instead of in, I will keep the not in. These 238 products are doesn't have any sale in the sales order detail table. Okay, so this is nothing but a correlated subquery. Okay, whenever this correlated subquery is executing, okay, by the time both the query, inner query and outer query, both they will execute independently. Why? Because here we have given the where condition. So when the first record it will come and it will compare against to here, and if it is based on the operator, if it is matched, then it will return the result. In such a way, it will, independently they will execute. That is called correlated subquery. Sometimes these subqueries will produce from the column level also. For example, I have a sales order header table, for example. Okay, so or else okay, let's keep a sales order header. Okay, for example, sales order detail, these two tables. Okay, so here if you observe in sales order header and sales order details, the common key is sales order ID. That is the primary key. Okay, so my requirement is, if you observe here we have only one sales order ID, but when it comes to the sales order details table, it is having the number of. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నీకు ఒక పర్చేస్ ఆర్డర్ ఉంది. బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మోర్కే వెళ్ళారు అనుకుందాం. మోర్కి వెళ్ళి మీరు డిఫరెంట్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ కొన్నారు. ఒక బిల్లే ఇస్తాడు, బట్ దాంట్లో డిఫరెంట్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి. అలాగా ఇవి ఇన్వాయిస్ డీటెయిల్స్ అనుకోండి, పర్చేస్ ఆర్డర్ అనుకోండి, పర్చేసింగ్ ఆర్డర్ అనుకోండి. ఓకే, నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఈ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ అనేది ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ when I am trying to write the query on top of the sales order header. Okay, ఈ sales order header అనే టేబుల్ నుంచి I would like to get few columns only, not all. It's not required for me, all the columns. Okay, sales dot sales order ID and sales order number, purchase order number, and subtotal, and tax, and freight, and total due. Okay, so these all are the columns it is required for me. That's fair enough for me. Okay. Okay, along with this, I need to get order quantity, total order quantity for each purchase order. ఓకే, అంటే నేనేం చేయాలి, ఈ టేబుల్లో నుంచి ఈ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ అనేది తీసుకొని దీన్ని సమ్ అప్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో హౌ టు డూ దట్? Simply you supposed to write the here. First give the alias name here. For example, SOH. Here I would like to write the query. Select from sales dot sales order detail. This is SOD. Okay, where SOH dot sales order ID equal to SOD dot sales order ID. This is the common key, right? Now I can perform sum of SOD dot order quantity. Okay, SOD dot order quantity. Alias name it is not required, even though if you required also outside we can give. So now you can see if you see here 43659 ki totally 26 orders ఉన్నాయి. If you want to check, you can check the data. ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ ఎంత వరకు ఉంది, మొత్తం ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ ఎంత అంటే 4 5 6 7 9 10 13 13 1 14 1 6 20 22 24 24 వస్తున్నాయి, 26 దాకా వచ్చినాయి. Yeah, last two I did not add it, 26 only. Okay, in such a way sometimes the subqueries will produce at the column level as well. Okay, for example, this is alias name I would like to give as total orders. Okay, yeah, this is the way the subqueries will be formed, and this is the way we supposed to write the queries using subqueries. ఇవి నీకు రియల్ టైంలో ఒకనొక సిచ్యువేషన్లో దే ఆర్ వెరీ సిమిలర్ టు ద జాయిన్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, దే ఆర్ వెరీ సిమిలర్ టు ద జాయిన్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, అంటే ద సేమ్ ఆపరేషన్ వీ కెన్ డూ విత్ ద జాయిన్స్, బట్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆపరేషన్స్ వీ కెనాట్ డూ. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇదే రిక్వైర్మెంట్ తీసుకోండి, ఇప్పుడు మన లాస్ట్లో రాస్తుంది. ఓకే, ఇది జాయిన్స్ తోటి సింపుల్ గా చేయొచ్చు. వీటన్నిటి గ్రూప్ బై లో పెట్టుకుంటాము, దీన్ని ఒకదాని అగ్రిగేషన్ లో పెట్టుకుంటాం, ఈ 2 టేబుల్స్ జాయిన్ చేసి. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ లెఫ్ట్ జాయిన్ వర్క్ అవుతుంది ప్రాబబ్లీ ఈ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ కి. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇన్నర్ జాయిన్ వర్క్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, దీనికి ఏ జాయిన్ వర్క్ అవ్వదు, ఈ సబ్ క్వరీలోనే రాయాలి. ఓకే, సో this is about the jobs. Any doubts here? Abhidunisa, Ayappa, Narendra, Rahman, Sai.
No doubts.
Okay.